Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, we're exploring one of the greatest adventure stories ever told, the Odyssey, written by the ancient Greek poet Homer. This epic poem is over 2,000 years old, and yet it still holds up, full of action, drama, clever twists, and a hero who just refuses to quit. Our story follows Odysseus, a warrior and king of Ithaca. After fighting for 10 years in the Trojan War, he just wants one thing: to go home. Back to his wife Penelope, and his young son Telemachus. But the journey home, that takes another 10 years, and it's filled with gods, monsters, and impossible choices. One of the first stops on his journey is the land of the Lotus Eaters. There, the locals eat a strange flower that makes them forget their past, forget their purpose. Odysseus has to physically drag his men back to the ship to keep them from giving up. Next comes one of the most famous scenes, the Cyclops. A one-eyed giant named Polyphemus traps Odysseus and his crew in a cave, and starts devouring them, one by one. Odysseus, ever the strategist, tells the Cyclops his name is Nobody. Then, he blinds the monster and escapes. When Polyphemus calls for help, yelling, "Nobody is hurting me," the other Cyclopes ignore him. Classic Odysseus. They later meet Aeolus, the god of the winds, who gives Odysseus a bag containing powerful storms to help guide them home. But just as Ithaca comes into view, his crew, curious and greedy, opens the bag, thinking it's treasure, and a massive storm sends them right back to where they started. After that, they encounter Circe, a sorceress who turns Odysseus' men into pigs. But he resists her magic, and they strike a deal. They stay with her for an entire year, before she finally helps them back on their journey. At one point, Odysseus even descends into the underworld to consult a dead prophet for advice. There, he meets fallen comrades, tragic heroes, and even his own mother. It's one of the most emotional and surreal parts of the story. Later, they face the deadly sirens, whose beautiful singing lures sailors to their doom. Odysseus plugs his crew's ears with wax, but he wants to hear the song, so he has himself tied to the mast, refusing to be untied no matter what. It's a powerful moment of temptation and self-control. Then comes a terrifying passage between two dangers: Scylla, a six-headed monster that snatches sailors from the deck, and Charybdis, a massive whirlpool that threatens to swallow the entire ship. Odysseus must sacrifice a few men to save the rest, a heartbreaking but necessary choice. Later, disaster strikes again. Despite Odysseus' warnings, his crew slaughters and eats the sacred cattle of the sun god Helios. Zeus punishes them with a violent storm. The ship is destroyed. Odysseus alone survives. He washes ashore on the island of Calypso, a goddess who falls in love with him. She keeps him there for 7 years, offering him immortality if he stays. But he refuses. He still longs for home. Eventually, the gods intervene, and Calypso lets him go. He's rescued by the Phaeacians, who finally bring him back to Ithaca. But even then, Odysseus can't let his guard down. At home, a group of ruthless suitors have invaded his palace, trying to marry Penelope and steal his throne. Odysseus disguises himself as a beggar, assesses the situation, and, together with his son Telemachus, takes back his home in a dramatic final battle. In the end, he and Penelope are reunited after 20 years apart. And Odysseus, after everything, is finally home. The Odyssey is more than just a story of adventure. It's about perseverance, cleverness, loyalty, and the deep desire to return to where we belong. It asks us, what are we willing to endure to stay true to who we are? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves mythology and epic stories. See you next time.